Next item on the agenda is Popeye's Restaurant, located directly south of 925 Hard Road. Applicant Liberty Restaurant Development is requesting a sketch plan review associated with the construction of a 2,532 square foot restaurant with double drive-through lanes on a 1.19 acre parcel located in an HC High Intensity Commercial District under section 269-5 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Buzz Steenberg. I'm the engineer for the applicant, Liberty Restaurants Development. Their proposal to construct a Popeyes fast food restaurant located at 925 Hard Road, just to the get my orientation, I think south of the existing Taco Bell, which you can see on the plan there. Very similar layout to what Taco Bell has as far as the drive-through is concerned. The access to the site, the main access to the site is off of Hard Road, just through the entrance to the plaza along the northerly property boundary of Taco Bell. This parcel would access only to the loop road of Taco Bell for ingress, or to the loop road of the plaza for the ingress. Vehicles can enter the site with parking, two-way traffic and parking along the side of the building. Very similar, like I said, that you see to the Taco Bell to the north. Vehicles entering the drive-through. The main difference with this site is that we have a double ordering stack with two drive lanes to order, which would narrow down to one pickup lane for exiting. There also would be a bypass lane moving all that traffic around. We are proposing an egress out through Taco Bell. They have graciously left a nice stub there for us to be able to make that egress so vehicles could a little more easily exit out to Hard Road, particularly if they'd be traveling to the south, because I know that is a tough left turn movement at times. But then they could, if they want, they can move back out and go to the light to the south. The restaurant itself is 2,532 square feet, 24 seats interior. The restaurants, the fast food restaurants, especially since COVID, have been getting smaller with interior seating. Not a lot of people are going to fast food and sitting down and eating in them. Matter of fact, lately I've been doing a lot of 12-seat Popeyes restaurants because that seems to be the way that they're going. But this one happens to be a 24-seat. We have 24 parking spaces. We know that we're going to need a variance for parking because of the way the parking code is written for the town of Webster. I think it's 25 gross square footage, which ends up being 105 parking spaces for this restaurant, which is a little excessive. We feel that the 24 parking spaces is more than enough. By the time you figure there's 8 to 10 employees at the max shift, assuming each one of them drives their own vehicle, although they do have a lot to take public transportation, that leaves about 14 spaces for customers, which is more than what we typically require is one. What I typically do on these restaurants is one space per 3 customer seats. So that would be 18 parking spaces total. We've got 24, so we seem to be very confident that that would be a good number. The dumpster, again, is located in the rear of the building. Concrete masonry dumpster enclosure to match the building. Basically everything on the site, just like you see with all of these, everything's color coded to match, color keyed to match, so that the dumpster matches the building. We've developed the plans pretty far through the site design. We were kind of held up because we were trying to get a hold of, we had to get some of the initial documentation for the, this is all part of Wide Waters did an out parcel development a few years back with Bergman Engineering. At that time, they did all of the stormwater management, making some assumptions that there would be, a certain amount of ground cover, impervious ground cover on the site, and came up with a design for a large bioretention basin located between the site and Hard Road, as well as the stormwater attenuation basin. All of that was considered into the design. What I was trying to figure out was when Taco Bell constructed it, one, making sure that they constructed it properly, and two, why was it constructed a little further down onto our property? I think it was just to pick up that third catch basin in the line of the bioretention basins. We're currently reviewing all of that documentation. What we're finding actually is that the what was assumed for impervious area and impervious cover as part of the Bergman study, they were conservative, as they would be with the design of that bioretention basin. The bioretention basin, as it stands now, may be more than sufficient to handle the additional Popeyes restaurant, because there's actually a small portion of land further to the south that actually isn't being developed. It was part of that they assumed a full build out, which isn't happening. So we're going through those stormwater management calculations now. We're finding that that bioretention basin, I think I saw one of the comments from the DPC at one point was, there's never any water in that basin, and it's a good sized basin. I was out there tonight looking at it. You typically don't see a lot of water in bioretention basins. They tend to absorb into the soil and get picked up with the plantings very quickly. But I think what we're going to find is that there's going to need to be, if anything, a slight modification to that bioretention basin for the addition of this design as we progress through the engineering, or through the engineering comments. We did receive the first round of engineering comments. Nothing substantial, really SWIP, updating the details to the town standard details, signature blocks, things like that. And we will be taking care of all of that and addressing all of those comments, but we're here tonight under sketch plan to get your input from the board, so that as we move forward, we can certainly keep that in mind, and if you have concerns, try to keep them, address them before we get to the preliminary final stages of this design.
If that detention area that's in front of Taco Bell now, and
Yes.
if it's determined that that's adequate,
Yeah,
it doesn't have to go over the years, then in lieu of that, I think that should be landscaped properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Showing a landscape design for that, so it's attractive.
I absolutely agree. I was out there looking at it tonight. Looks like, Taco Bell has a few river birches that are outside of the bioretention basin. I certainly would like to continue that design as we go down through, and then get some of the shrub plantings around in the front there, just to kind of have a continuous landscape area that looks, similar. We have no objection to that.
I think the design of the building is pretty cool. It's nice. Look on the side there.
What about the sidewalk?
And were you saying about that chicken, does that have to be on there?
We can,
I'd rather not see that on there personally.
we can certainly discuss that. We'll obviously do whatever you ask. In other municipalities, we have skinny down the sign package. That's their preferred sign package. That's the way they, out of, I think they're out of Louisiana. That's what their designers have come up with. Popeyes. Excuse me. But we have reduced the amount of signage. Obviously, we want the Popeye sign on the front side because it does give the people the identification of the building, so that they can see it, especially since we don't have direct access to our road.
Put a statue of olive oil up there.
But we've got one going up in Canandaigua where we significantly scaled back that kind of building sign package. That's something we'd be happy to work with this board.
Yeah, I think that's something that,
Okay.
would you guys agree? I mean,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's pretty much the way we've got guidelines, planning and development guidelines for the town. That's one of the things that's there, is to eliminate some of the logos and so on that are corporate designs and what have you. But that to me doesn't make it look attractive. The building is a pretty attractive building, in my opinion.
It is a nice looking building. They've spent a lot of time actually development and the new designs that they've been coming out with. And it is a nice looking building. And I have to agree with you, I think the signage on it is a little excessive. But, you know, Liberty Restaurants is very willing to work with municipalities to whatever works for you guys. And what we'll do is, I'll take a look at it and go with some of the people that talk to the applicants, and we'll put together a full sign package for you.
What's the reasoning for the parallel border lines?
It allowed, wasn't they?
The other ones, they only have single.
Yeah.
The parallel border lines.
They found that they have it, through, you know, basically through trial and error, and you see it a lot at Chick-fil-A too. They can get the quicker they can get the orders and switch that in and out, they can have the orders prepared and ready and out and move more people through with having that parallel order line. And then they also, probably the bigger thing, and this is something that I can't stand to see, and this site really doesn't lend itself to it, but traditional fast food services tend to lend itself to this. When you have your backup of your queue on the drive-through, backing around the building, blocking pedestrian access into the building. They try to do that with blocks, especially blocks, the accessible parking access into the building, because they want to make sure that they have enough queue, and that double parking allows for that. That double wait really allows for getting that out of queue.
The top picture, if you take a look over to the left side, there's a sign there that says chicken.
Yeah, that will be them. I can guarantee that. That's part of their rendering. They wanted a little island that separates the bypass lane and the drive-through lane. I have not seen where this applicant has put one of those in there yet.
So does that narrow down to one lane to pick up the food, or?
It narrows down to one lane to pick up the food. There's one pickup lane. And then the bypass lane, and I saw in your comments the review about the bypass lane, the bypass lane continues around. So it's 20 foot around that curve, so.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just wanted to ask, 'cause I'm not
We
sure.
have to, okay, it's not a public hearing, but we'll let you go ahead and speak. Just go
Yeah.
and use the microphone, okay? What's your name, sir?
My name is Brandy Robert. I
When you
don't
get to
know
the
how
mic,
this
gotta
process
put-
works.
Hold on. Say your name now so she can put it on.
Brandy Robert.
There you go.
I don't know how this process works. We own a restaurant in the village of Webster. On the 27th of this month will be our 14th year. It's a fried chicken restaurant, so obviously we have some objections, but I don't know how this process works. I mean, I don't know why we need another fried chicken restaurant 700 feet from KFC, but I don't know what the process is in objecting to another KFC. And I also live on the other side of where they're planning this KFC. So is there a process to object to this?
Yeah, that's a preliminary, but
Where's your place? It's a village?
Yes, it's called BC Chicken Coop. We've been there, like I said.
see, the thing is, if an applicant meets the requirements of what the zoning allows in a district,
Yeah.
they have a right to apply and ask for that. And that's what this area was designed for, right there.
Well, I understand it, but we're putting our small businesses out of business.
Well, I hear you what you're saying, and you know, we talk about that all the time. Look at how many gas stations, how many oil change places, how many
Right.
car washes do we need, you know?
Right, but do you folks take that into
Makes
consideration?
it difficult.
But that's not something
You
you
can't
guys.
deny it, let's put it that way.
I'm sorry?
You just can't deny them. They have the right to do it, you know?
Well, I understand, but like, isn't it your job to decide how many of those we need?
No,
Okay.
no, you can't do that. See, that's what I'm saying. If a person buys a piece of property and they want to develop something and it meets the requirements of the town, they're allowed to move forward. We can suggest this, that, and the other in the process of it, and design of it, and traffic and lighting and those kinds of things, but we can't say you can't do it. There's times you'd want to, but unfortunately, we can't.
I'm sorry?
I say unfortunately, we can't say
Yeah,
no
you got
to
the first
something.
part of that sentence.
Yeah, we
Oh,
can't
there's
say no
times
to
that
the
you want to.
applicant.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, well, thank you.
okay, I'm sorry.
I have a question here, the Popeye sign on the top photo there.
What does that say underneath it? I can't read it.
That says Louisiana
Kitchen.
Kitchen, yes, thank you. And I can get you a full signage package as we go through the process. It'll tell you the dimensions of all those letters and
Now, your lighting is under that canopy, am I looking at?
yes,
I'm looking at there, the glass, is
they're,
that,
they're glass globe lights.
okay, is that outside or is that inside?
That's outside.
It's outside. All right, so is there seating outside there too, or no?
No, that's just
So the
sidewalk.
glass is the wall that's inside?
That's correct. That glass goes right down to the
And
ground.
those lights are, how are those lights, I'm sorry?
They're just hanging globe lights. They're maybe about 8-10 inches in diameter.
They should be a shielded light, so when you're going in there, you don't see the glare of the light.
We can, what we can do is that there's an alternative light that we've used in the past on those. And we just did this in Canandaigua for the shielded lights.
Yes.
To do that, and we can provide those lights.
Okay, so that's something would you
Okay.
guys agree, and I think that's something you want to have?
They're not bright lights. They're, like residential style fixtures,
Yeah.
so like 60-watt fixtures are just enough to, but we can certainly,
Yeah.
I think they do an LED downcast light underneath
Yeah.
that canopy.
Okay.
Did anyone ask if the Popeyes sign at the top is lit or not?
If it's what?
If it's lit at night?
Oh, the Popeye sign?
Yeah.
I don't believe it is, but I can take a look at that. I'm pretty certain that is not lit. It's not backlit.
Okay.
Now, I did hear somebody bring up sidewalks on Harbor Road, and
I mentioned sidewalks because Hagedorn's goes down so far and what's already there goes up so far. And Tony, you had mentioned because the drainage swale or the final retention swale, if that's big enough to think about landscaping, and my thought was to think about connecting the sidewalk, so we have a
In
sidewalk.
front of them? In front of them?
Even if it's across the street.
That's where they
connect-
are. That's where the sidewalks are right now. They go from the expressway
Yeah,
up across the plaza. There's a part that's blank, it's not completed in there, never was done, I guess it was supposed to be, but and then Hagedorn's is gonna do it from the expressway, from Ridge Road down where the bank is. I think it's, what is it?
I thought I
Josh,
heard
300
you
and
say that
something.
it was gonna go so many feet and there was
Yeah,
gonna be.
it's all
a
it's all on the east side of the road though.
I understand.
Nothing, so sidewalks in front of here would do nothing.
I'm suggesting, since this applicant is coming into this space and there's less work to do,
Well, put it across.
put it across
Gotcha,
the
I see what
street
you're
and
saying.
connect the whole thing, because there's gonna be presumably
Yeah,
a
that-
small
yeah, I see what
gap.
you're saying. That's part of that plaza. That's supposed to have been done about 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. I hear you.
But if we're doing the development and finishing up the area, and there's going to be a gap, and there's less work that
Okay,
needs
so
to be
you're
done here,
suggesting-
it's just something to, is that worthy of discussion here?
It's a possibility, maybe. It's something, can you investigate that?
We included that as a comment,
Is it in there?
Okay.
as
Okay.
a requirement, so, like, Hagedorn's is providing
Right.
360 or 380 feet of sidewalk, equivalent sidewalk,
Mhm.
might be on the east side of Harbor Road. This might be a similar situation if it's.
Whatever the width of the property is.
Property,
Okay.
yeah.
On the east side of the road and
Yeah.
try and make that connect.
I can certainly talk to the applicant about that, and that's why I'm glad you brought it up, because I saw it on your comment list, and it's something I wanted to discuss, because we want to make sure that we get the, basically have everything, set for the next time that we're ready to come back, so.
That would be great.
That might be a good time to talk to that plaza, the owners, and have them complete what they're doing, because they got a piece of property there, they still want to develop a couple pieces. It might be in their best interest to complete that sidewalk right now.
Are there sidewalks on that side of the road in the right of way, or are they on the private property?
Well, they're, good question, I don't know, they're just, gosh,
With our private
15,
property,
20 feet away from the road, so wherever they are, I don't know.
it would be almost impossible for us to do them on our private property without an agreement from that plaza.
Yeah,
If they're in the right of way,
Okay.
obviously, there's a set check section we can probably take a look at that.
Okay.
It's
All right.
worthy of looking into for sure. Okay.
Anybody have any other comments on this? Jen, Mark? No? You guys are okay with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time this evening, and I have to say, I've been to probably 60, 70 different municipalities over my time as an engineer, and the way you got this set up for us to do a presentation is the best I've ever seen, so, with the laptops and everything, so I really appreciate you doing that, and look forward to coming back next time and keep this project moving.
Okay, thank you.